Welcome to today's morning power up call. This is an odd time and an odd location, but I'm glad I have the opportunity to pause here and give you guys a little bit of insight. And this is a key piece of insight. This is something I was talking about with one of the apprentices I was working with on a one-on-one project. And we were talking back and forth, and he asked me a couple questions, and I realized that there was a key assumption about what copywriting is and how to best approach it that I had failed to explain. And it's always interesting, right? Whenever you're approaching a problem and you're trying to figure out why you're running into a problem or why you're not able to achieve a specific result, and you continue to go back and back and back, you usually will come to a key assumption that you either have that has provided the success downrange, or it's the thing that actually has caused the problem that's downrange, right? As we were talking, it became very apparent that there is a key assumption that I have that most other copywriters don't have, and it's the reason why I was able to be successful and why. And it's common amongst all of those who are able to be successful in the program. So the students who are able to step up and become successful and like land their first clients and write really good copy that's persuasive and produce amazing results for their clients, they all share the same key assumption, same key belief. And that is that copywriting is 90% an attitude and 10% technique. And here's what I mean by that. If someone knows the technique, they know how to write DIC, they know how to write fascinations, they know how to write a good subject line, but they don't have the right attitude behind copywriting, the writing might be technically correct, but it won't have the same compelling power that exists if someone has the correct attitude, right? If you look at different people throughout history, there have been those who've been wildly persuasive, right? You can think about people who were able to persuade and influence entire countries, entire nations, and honestly, like the world, right? There's some people that you can think about in recent times that are good at this. I mean, love or hate their politics, Donald Trump is extremely good at this. He's got the attitude. He gets up there, he's able to make bold, crazy claims, draw people's attention, and he might not be, technically well versed, although there's some debate about that. But he's got the attitude, so the technique like kind of takes care of itself, right? There's lots of other people. You can think of different social media personalities that are extremely successful. There's one in particular. The attitude is 100% there, and the technique will take care of itself if the attitude is right. The best, obviously, is if you have the attitude, if you have the idea, if you have that feeling, and you can combine it with the technique, then you're able to win time after time after time. And that's where I want all of you to get to. Now, when I say an attitude, what do I really mean by that? Right? What I mean when I say the attitude of copywriting? There's this sort of emotional state you get into when you are extremely certain about what you're talking about. If you're certain about the product, certain about the solution, certain about the avatar, when you are 100%, you can feel the certainty bubbled up, and you are extremely convicted in the necessity, in the power of what you are sharing. Once you have that feeling, once you have that inside of your mind, and you can then sit down and just pour the persuasion out of you, you've probably felt this several times as you've worked through the program. You've probably felt this several times in your life. But if you can tap into that attitude, you can get that type of conviction when you sit down to write, that energy, that feeling will usually take care of most of your problems with your technique, and usually will get the job done, right? You can tell if a piece of copy has been written by someone who has that attitude, or if it's been written by some sort of copywriting geek who doesn't have the attitude. A lot of people geek out over the technique while they forget about the attitude. You need to have both, and the most important of those two is the attitude, that persuasive, that attitude of influencing others. Now it shifts, right? It's not always bold, brash, in your face. Sometimes it's calm and caring, but that feeling of reaching out and influencing someone and persuading them to do something that is going to change their life for the good, for the good of them and their family and everyone they care about. That feeling is something that you want to tap into. If you can tap into that emotional state, then you can write in that emotional state. And it doesn't really matter how many words you use or if you use this particular formula or not. Because if the attitude's there, the other person can feel it. If they can feel it, it will influence them. So as you go through the program, as you continue to work through the contents of the boot camp, as you continue to do your outreach to your clients, try and tap into the attitude. Try and think, what should I be feeling right now as I'm writing this particular piece of copy? What should I be feeling right now? What should my attitude be on this sales call? What should it be on this outreach? What should it be with, what should my attitude be on this welcome sequence? Think of what that should feel like, what that attitude should be, and realize that will allow you to come in with the technique and actually execute well. but you got to have the attitude in addition to the technique. So keep that in mind. Maintain the correct attitude. Tap into that state as necessary if you want to succeed. Guys, it's been a good call. Got a busy day, a lot of things ahead of us. We're moving over to new platforms, so continue to pay attention to the things that we're putting out there. I've got some great, excellent new content to release to you guys as soon as everyone gets over. We should have most of the issues ironed out within the next 24 to 48 hours. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys soon. So keep your guys' eyes peeled, and we will do this again tomorrow.